Good afternoon and welcome to our studios here at Thunder Bay Live. I'm here with Mayor Keith Hobbs. Hello.
Hi.
And your pup is?
It's Molly. It's a 7-year-old Boston Terrier because I'm a diehard Boston Bruins fan. And I met this beautiful lady that owned it, and we all fell in love. We're like family.
And I have Beaner here.
Beaner's a name of my brother had a kid's hair salon out in Kelowna, and he called it Beaner's. So
That's great.
They were meant to meet.
Well, being Boston and Beantown, you had to have some sort of bean in the name. So I just wanted to start off, I'm really fascinated with your parents. They sound fascinating. I don't know which.
Well, my dad has passed
Okay.
on, but my mom, we just came back from British Columbia. We're in Victoria, and it was her
Okay.
90th birthday. So we had a nice family reunion. We had relatives from England. She is she's a cornerstone of our family.
Mm-hmm.
She was, during the war, she served in MI5 British
Yeah,
intelligence.
that's fascinating. She was a sergeant, right?
She was a color sergeant, staff sergeant, and she worked on Hitler's Enigma code,
Oh,
which
wow.
helped solve the code that eventually ended the war. So it was really
That's fascinating.
She's a teacher of languages. She taught French, Latin. She knows how to speak Chinese.
Oh, wow.
She's an amazing woman.
Did she teach you any of the languages? I know that's hard being one of nine.
No, she used to have a French class in her house, and I was more into baseball and soccer, so I didn't learn.
Wow. So your family lived in England?
Yeah, I was born in England. My older brother, and I had an older sister. She died when she was 18 on her graduation night, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
She was my role model. And,
Aw.
yeah, I miss her dearly. I still go and visit her.
And your dad was a part of the Coldstream Guard, is that how they say it?
He was in the Coldstream Guards. Those are the guys at Buckingham Palace.
Yep,
They have the big
big
fur
fur.
hats and two buttons, two buttons, two buttons. And
Wow.
so he also served in Italy and North Africa
Oh my
during the
gosh.
war. He was injured, wounded by a grenade shrapnel during the war, and suffered all his life. And he died at 72 of cancer.
Wow. So you fought and then.
Fought the good fight and lost the good fight.
Wow.
He was tough. He was a real tough dad.
He sounds
So
like
wake,
it.
wake me up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning with pots and pans. And,
Oh my goodness.
get out of bed, you horrible little man.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Nightmares to last a lifetime.
Yeah.
But good ones.
Yes.
So you came to Canada when you were 12? Is that
No,
correct?
actually, I was just a young boy, and then we
Okay.
moved to Kitchener, Toronto and Kitchener. Came to Thunder Bay when I was 12.
Oh, okay. And you've been here since?
Yes,
You
Thunder
gone
Bay is
anywhere?
home.
Okay.
Yeah, I went up to BC when I was about 18 and
Mhm.
spent a couple of years working out in industry there.
Okay.
And then back to Thunder Bay, worked at Great Lakes, as it was called then, which is now
Yeah.
Resolute. And then 1976 joined Thunder Bay Police.
Okay. And you became chief in what year?
I never became chief. I was
Oh,
a
okay.
watch commander.
Watch commander?
But I was
Okay.
president of the Police Association for 12 years and vice president for 12, so that was union work.
Oh, okay.
And I did a lot of that.
And then in 2010, you retired?
Retired on St. Patty's Day.
Oh.
I went out, had some
Perfect.
green beer, and then started my campaign about a
Wow.
week later.
Wow. Okay, so what prompted you to want to be mayor? Like what, everybody has motivation. What was yours at the time?
Well, I've always had a love of this city, a deep, deep love of this city, and I was pretty well raised here from 12 years old, as I said. And being a police officer, I knew every square inch of the city, and I got to know so many people in the city. And I'll tell you, I've been to London, England, I've been to Vancouver, I've been to Florida, I've been to cities all over the world, and nothing compares to Thunder Bay. It's
Everybody comes
always
back.
where the heart is, and everybody comes back,
Mhm.
for sure.
I know lots of people that have moved all over the world, and they end up coming back here in their 40s, you know, because they're set in their positions and they can take on different things here in Thunder Bay that they have to offer. So you're going to be running again?
Yes, I'm thinking for another 4 years, hoping to get elected on October 27th. And you know, I think that this term of council, I don't like to talk about myself because as a mayor, you're a leader, and I think I've led this term of council to do things that we've never even thought of in Thunder Bay before. I took on the crime issue, and today the stats came out,
Yes.
7% drop, 10% or 17% last year and another 7% this year. So things are trending down, which is good. That was one of my promises. However, you know, I'm not happy with homicides, obviously,
No.
so that's still some work that has to be done. We've put record amounts of dollars into infrastructure. We paid down our debt. Building permits are record numbers. The city's growing around us, and we can see it everywhere you drive. There's evidence of it.
Yes.
78 million into infrastructure just in the last 2 years.
The waterfront is beautiful.
Waterfront is beautiful. I'm still committed to get the event center done, and I think that's going to be the crowning piece of the downtown North Core.
Now, when we had Canada Day, I know there was tons of people down there. I was down there myself, where I met your boss. I saw you walk by with your wife and your Boston Terrier, and there didn't seem to be a problem that I could see with people leaving or parking, because when the fireworks were over, that's when everybody got it. It was a cold night too, and people were leaving all at once in an orderly fashion, and there was parking.
There was 15,000 people for Canada Day, and we had no parking issues. Again, the Blues Fest, we were at the Blues Fest, and 8,000 people, and it cleared out of there in about 15 minutes, and no parking issues. Actually, people were saying there were empty lots. So, and we're also going to be looking at you know, some buildings that we may buy up and turn into parking lots for the event center. So,
Which makes
you know,
sense.
yeah, parking's not going to be an issue. You know, what I want to do is build a parking lot and put a Costco on it, so people can have a parking lot and they can go shop at Costco. That's what I figure parking lots are for.
Yes, you're right. So with the event center, how far are you along? Are you in it? And what's
Well, we're just wrapping up phase 3, the build design, and we're soon going to be going into phase 4, and phase 4 is the funding.
Okay.
And I've already spoken to Greg Rickford. I have a meeting with him in Sulicote next week. I have a meeting in North Bay in August with the right-hand man to infrastructure minister, Denny LaBelle, who I've met before. I'm trying to meet with Tony Clement, all the powerhouse people in government to line up that federal funding piece. We've already got the commitment from Michael Gravel and Bill Moore, our two ministers in Thunder Bay. They're on site for this project. We have Minister Glenn Murray, Brad Duguid, when we met with them last year. They like the project, so I think provincial funding is going to be there. And they just committed $110 billion to infrastructure over the next 10 years. So that's exciting. There's lots of money available for infrastructure. And now the hard part is going to be getting the feds on board, because they don't really want anything to do with hockey rinks.
But it's not just a hockey rink.
It's definitely not. It's 50,000 square feet of convention space. We're trying to attract shows, trade unions, you name it, big monster trucks, wrestling, whatever
That'd be fun.
whatever you can imagine, we're going to try and get into that event center.
Well, Thunder Bay is really a hub for Toronto and Winnipeg. So, I mean, for people that want to, from Toronto, that don't want to travel all the way to Winnipeg, can come to Thunder Bay, along with people from Winnipeg, and the businesses can meet.
Yeah.
And they can have their, like, there's going to be meeting rooms in there, isn't there?
Oh, definitely.
So,
And,
I mean, like, there's also that.
yeah.
I mean, I like the event center idea.
You can have weddings there. There's so many things we can do there. And I've talked to Mark Chipman. We met a couple of weeks ago, the owner of the Winnipeg Jets. He definitely wants to bring his AHL hockey team here. And people don't realize the caliber of that hockey. It's just like watching an NHL game. We'll get to see the Providence Bruins here probably, the baby
really?
Bruins. Yeah. But and then we've talked to Sault Ste. Marie, and there's so many acts and shows that go to Sault Ste. Marie to their event center, and then fly over Thunder Bay to go to Winnipeg.
That's
And
what
we
it
want
is.
them to stop in Thunder Bay. It's huge for our economy.
It would be perfect. I mean, with the hockey team, we had the Ottawa Senators farm team here before.
Yeah, we did, and that was a couple of steps below the AHL.
Okay,
You
so
see
it
the
wasn't
AHL.
quite. Okay.
What you're seeing at the AHL is NHL players, want to be NHL players, but you're seeing when they're reconditioning, if they've had an injury or something,
Oh, okay.
they're rehabilitating, then the AHL is a step back to the NHL.
Okay.
So you're going to see NHL players come up and down. You're going to see good players that are drafted by NHL teams that are just waiting for that jump up.
Oh, wow. And they're already in the media because that's the way our media works. We find a prospect and the media seems to get on them right in the juniors.
Yeah.
And they follow, like Sidney Crosby, for instance, they followed him right away. Reebok took him on and they followed him right away. So that it's been fascinating. Unfortunately, he was plagued with too many head injuries now and he can't play as good as he used to. But he's still fascinating to watch.
But I mean, look at this is Thunder Bay. This is Hockey Town, Canada. We produce more hockey or NHL players per capita, I think, than any city of our size, and it's just a natural fit for Thunder Bay.
I mean, not only the NHL teams, we have our women's hockey here, and we have, is it Haley? What's
Haley Irwin.
Haley Irwin from Thunder Bay,
Gold
which has been on the team twice now, I think, to go. And she does a lot of charity work. I saw that in the community that she goes to representing Team Canada and Thunder Bay as well.
Curling is another big, you know, you can bring the Briar here now, and
Yes.
there's so many things that are out there that we just saw the one of the best golf tournaments, the PGA Tour in Thunder Bay, and all the players and the organizers were saying, and the PGA themselves were saying it was one of the best tournaments ever in Canada.
Oh, really?
And we put on World Baseball, we put on
Yes.
the Nordic Games, the Canada Games, and we do sports right, so we do events right.
Well, yeah, we produce a lot of talent here in Thunder Bay, and it'd be nice to have them to come back home to something nice to perform in, or perform hockey, or whatever their genre is.
So we're pushing ahead with that, and I want to see it in 2017, drop that puck.
I'll be a
First
fan.
puck.
I'll be right there on the center line watching. So there was an announcement about the bridge recently. That's everybody's tongue, it seems, lately. And unanimously voted by council to not accept the deal. Has CN come back at all, or what's, I don't understand the process, so if you can explain.
Yeah, we had a lot of negotiations with CN, and we're relying on our legal advice from Toronto, and those are transportation lawyers and railway specialist lawyers, and we have our own in-house law firm, and they've interpreted the 1906 agreement very clearly to say that CN should be maintaining that bridge in perpetuity.
Right.
And that means that any repairs, should be fixed by CN at their cost. Well, this last final offer that they gave us was $1.5 million for the city of Thunder Bay to put in to repair that bridge, and it probably would have been more in the final analysis. I was very pleased that City Council was unanimous. It was a 12-0 vote. One councillor was absent. So when you get a 12-0 vote, it's a clear message.
Right.
And I like that. I like that everyone was on the same page. And I'm very proud of this council, because this term of council, we've had more unanimous votes than I've ever seen. And we're on the same page. We're a very functional council. But we unanimously and together collectively told CN, fix the bridge. It's your responsibility.
Don't they have it, I know it's kind of a silly question because I don't know, but if a company like that built a bridge and they've been going over it that long, don't they insure the bridge? Wouldn't their insurance kick in to fix that?
First of all, the fire, let me be clear, the fire didn't damage the structure of that bridge. It burned the outside of the timbers. But structurally, and we don't even know because we asked them to do an independent investigation ourselves with our engineers, and we haven't been allowed on that bridge. It's their bridge, they own it. They operate it, and that's something I want to be clear about too. The City of Thunder Bay doesn't own the bridge, we don't operate it, we don't maintain it, never have, and according to the 1906 agreement, never will. So what we're doing right now, our lawyers are looking at the 1905 and 1906 agreement, which gave CN right-of-ways within the City of Thunder Bay, and talked about the bridge and it being maintained in perpetuity by CN. So we're going through all that in-house, so it won't cost taxpayers.
Right.
And then we're gonna, the next term of council will make a decision whether we go to the legal battle or not.
Which would take quite some time, and it's
Unfortunately, it is, so now what we're concentrating on is Highway 61 turnoff to Chippewa.
Yes, that could be
and to
dangerous
Fort
at
Wayne First
times.
Nation. Yes, I've seen a few near collisions, and we have to make sure that that's safe. But we also have to educate drivers to slow down, we're looking at maybe getting the province to reduce the speed limits between Broadway Avenue and that turnoff, and maybe south a bit to give people time to slow down when they're approaching
That
the
would make
intersection.
sense.
That makes very good sense, but again, that's the provincial domain because that's a provincial.
Oh, right, so it's OPP.
Yeah.
Okay. So, say, I mean, this is kind of a shot in the wind, but is there any talk of maybe building our own bridge, or?
Definitely. Chief Peter Collins, the previous chief of Fort William First Nation, and I talked about building a new bridge, getting the feds to fund most of it, and call it the Unity Bridge. We even came up with a name for it to unite our two communities. And you know, I really want to stress that bridge isn't a bridge for people to go over and get cheap gas. A lot of people are saying that, and what I say to those people is, we have our Thunder Bay residents and taxpayers working at the sawmill, at the grain elevator, at 5 other businesses that are over there. We have hockey moms and dads taking their kids to the rink. We have people and tourists, Thunder Bay residents and tourists going to Chippewa Park, up to Mount McKay Lookout. And then we have Fort William First Nation residents buying their groceries in Thunder Bay, buying their clothes, buying their furniture, their vehicles. So if there's commerce going on and activities going on between both communities.
It's equal.
It is. It's very equal. Yes, there's lineups for gas all the time, and it's probably hurting some local gas stations. That's the downside of it.
That's the economy too. I mean, you can't blame for another community having cheaper gas for that reason, but it's our economy's to blame too. It's tough all around, and if somebody could get something a little better to help a family out to save a few dollars, of course, that's lunch money for a kid or something.
Well, that's why I'm working on bringing Costco here too. Like, Costco is a great store for families. You can buy in bulk, and I've been talking to them, and I'm hoping for something to come out of that soon, very soon.
Costco is an affiliate of Walmart, is it not?
No, they're not. They're private. They're their own entity, but they treat their employees so well. I think an associate makes about $40,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
And their prices are great. And they're all over North America, and people love them. And I've heard so many people in Thunder Bay, give me a Costco here.
Because they don't want to drive to Duluth all the time.
And I don't want them to drive to Duluth. If you look at our new waterfront, if you look at the event center, you look at the new hotels that are going up, I want to keep the North Shore shoppers here, have a staycation in Thunder Bay, stay in our nice hotel, shop at Costco, go to a hockey game or an event at the event center, and our economy is going to grow as well.
Well, I know nearing Christmas time, a lot of the smaller communities like Marathon, Manitowocq, Terrace Bay, Long Lac, all those people head to Thunder Bay to go shopping.
Yes, exactly.
And if there's an event happening that weekend, I'm positive they would attend. I mean,
definitely.
make a weekend of it.
We were in Fort Francis at the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association conference, and I had so many mayors say to me, build a Costco, build an event center, we'll come.
Oh, really? Wow.
Definitely, because a lot of them bypass Thunder Bay to go to Duluth and Minneapolis as well. So if we have those options that Duluth have, they're going to stop here.
Absolutely. So as far, we've covered the event center, we've covered the bridge. Is there anything else that you have that you need to add?
I want to look at our medical sector. Like, that's going to be on my agenda for next term of council. I'm confident I'm going to be the mayor again. I hope I am, God willing. And if the people of Thunder Bay think I've done a good enough job and support me, but I want to look at our medical for cardiac care. We really need it. We were the highest rate of amputations in the province. People have to fly to London and Toronto for medical care when we have a first-rate hospital here, cancer clinic, Northwestern Ontario School of Medicine, Mayo Law School. We're getting it all, but patients should be able to stay here and get treated here.
Yes, it would be nice for all the family concerned.
It would be wonderful. So that's one of the initiatives. More economic development. We need to attract industry here. We have kept taxes. I've looked at the charts for the last 15 years, and our tax rates, if you take away the 1.5% that we've been putting into infrastructure, it's totally dedicated to roads and bridges and other infrastructure, our tax increases would be the lowest in 15 years. We've added that 1.5 into it for infrastructure, and the taxes are still about the same as what they've been. So.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
so, I mean, I ran on fiscal responsibility, our credit rating just got up again, so it's 2 jumps in 2 years with Standard & Poor's, which is phenomenal. We have a AA- rating, and that's something that's been unheard of in Thunder Bay. So our budget process is good, we're in good financial shape. We paid down, I believe, about 25-30 million in debt.
Oh, wow.
Which is, again, a real good success story. So I think I've fulfilled all the commitments and promises that I made when I ran for mayor. We still have a lot of way to go on the crime, but again, it's trending down, which is good.
And I've heard recently that you're working together with other organizations to help, like problem areas where there's tall grass or things where people can do their crime.
Well, the Crime Prevention Council has done some great work. That's about 32 agencies, from addictions to abuse of women and all kinds of organizations that are all working together to find the root causes of crime. We've supported Shelter House in the alcohol management program, where we've taken about 15 of the most marginalized people off the streets. The SOS program, where we're picking up homeless people and housing them. We're looking at another $500,000 into that program. So we're a big supporter of Shelter House, and all these programs that we're doing that are looking at the root causes of crime. It takes a big strain off police and fire and EMS, and it also takes a big strain off the hospital.
Yes.
Code gridlock is something that we want to work on as well.
My aunt got into a horrible accident April 17th, and she remained in the hospital for quite some time, and the level of care she received when she was in intensive care was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Not only were the nurses doing their job, but they cared. They cared how she was feeling, and you know, they held her hand when she needed it and talked to her, and it was just sitting there for hours and days on end, like, not me personally, but watching my uncle sit there. They really got to know him, and he didn't leave her side, and they were good to him too.
It's an awesome facility,
Yes.
and I hear those stories all the time. I mean, you're always going to get the odd bad story.
Oh, yeah.
It's like anywhere, but you know, for the most part, I hear nothing but good as well.
It was. I mean, it was unfortunate she had to be in there that long, along with my cousin. But they got such phenomenal care, and they were very comfortable at that. As comfortable as it's going to get, as with being injured. But okay, well, I think we're good, and it's very nice sitting here talking to you, and wonderful meeting your dog.
Yeah, it's nice to
took
see
off.
you too.
Thank you so
and
much.
Go Bruins.
Absolutely, I can't wait for the
I
season.
don't want to have to put that Habs tattoo on my head again.
Oh no, that was horrible. I felt so bad with you. For you.
I know, but a bet is a bet, right?
Well, yeah. What was the bet anyway?
Well, it was with Danny Fresta from CKPR, and we had a bet before the Montreal-Boston series. Whoever loses has to wear the other team's tattoo on their head.
Oh no.
It was airbrushed, luckily.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I had to wear it for a couple days, but that story,
a couple days?
that went viral. It was on the Russian sports in Moscow. It was on CNN,
smokes.
TSN, ESPN, USA
Really?
Today.
Don Cherry must have been so mad
Yeah,
at
it
you.
was Bobby Orr saw it on, they were.
Bobby
Orr said, that poor guy, but man,
Jeez,
man.
that's dedication to your team, though.
Yeah.
Like both of us with Boston Terriers. I love Boston Bruins. It just go Bruins. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, take care.
Kelly and Keith from ThunderBayLive.com.